if you know that is your thing, you have to die for it. You cannot give that up for anyone. You reach a certain point in your life that, you have to decide who you're going to be, and you can't let anyone else make that decision for you. And I think it's so important to just keep that in your head, knowing that you have control over your own future, no matter what anyone says.
Welcome to the Powerful One podcast. This is episode 27 with Griff Glendinning. Griff was born and raised in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where he found his love for film and music at a very young age. Griff has always been inspired to tell stories through his film. He started his film career filming artists such as 21 Savage, A$AP Rocky, and Joey Badass, and it has been his mission to capture the moment. Now, currently, Griff is the director of creative content at Kanga Coolers, where he aims to continue his pursuit of aspiring through his films and projects. In this episode, we take a deep look into Griff's mindset and the importance behind resilience and his passion for filmmaking and some of the amazing experiences that Griff has done in his life. So here it is, guys, episode 27. Enjoy. Let's get it rocking and rolling. We're here with Griff, Powerful One podcast. What's up, brother?
How we doing, man? Good to be here.
Doing good. So where are you at right now, man?
So I'm actually I'm in Clemson. I just moved into Crawford Apartments. So I'm living the life of a Clemson student now.
Damn. That's what's up, man. So you, are you full-time Kanga right now?
Yeah, I am full-time. I came on as an intern in June. Ended up just coming in, firing all cylinders, really hungry, just got after it, and, ended up taking up a big role in the company. So I'm running the creative content and operations now.
Yeah, man. So you came on, were you an intern this past June?
Yeah, I came on June 1st as an intern.
Damn.
So, yeah, man. Just came in.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I came in real hungry, and just Teddy saw that, and the other guys saw that, and they reciprocated. So.
Yeah. So, okay. So what's your exact title? So you're head of content creation or head of?
Yeah, I'm director of creative operations and content. So that consists of anything from, long form content. So like documentaries, we're working on one right now called Wake Up. We'll definitely talk about that soon.
Yes, I'm excited.
Short form stuff, like TikTok, Instagram stories, ads, really anything. It's a pretty flexible position. And then, I also cover stuff like event management. So we're trying to get us into festivals, PGA Tour, stuff like that. So it's a pretty flexible position. As you know, we're we're a lean and mean company.
Yeah.
So, everyone's got to have a lot of roles.
Damn. So, dude, no, I'm super curious to hear more about your role there and kind of just like what you guys are doing with the documentaries and stuff. But I guess let's rewind first and we can get there. I mean, so obviously you've been doing video. How long you been doing like videography?
Professionally, I'd say maybe 3.5, 4 years now. But, my whole life, basically, I started messing around with GoPros. Out. My older cousin had one, and immediately I was just obsessed with it, and I was like, I gotta get my hands on one of these. And from that moment on, it was just go, film everything you can. I feel like that's how it kind of starts for a lot of guys. Most guys don't pick this up very late.
Was that something you were always into, or was that like, when did it kind of start where you're like, ooh, this is fun, I'm really into this?
So it started actually with me and my cousin when we were, I think, like middle school or beginning of high school. We made this little company called Dreamline Productions. I know it's a terrible name. But we kind of ran with that. We were like, hey, we're gonna make these edits to stuff we do, summer highlights, us wakeboarding, water skiing, sledding in the winter, just stupid kid stuff. And people started being like, hey, these are pretty sweet, man. You got a good read for the music transition, it works. It became a little serious for me. What actually happened was my buddy was friends with this local Philadelphia rapper named Tayyib Ali.
Oh my gosh, dude. Bro, I got to stop you. Tayyib Ali was my favorite rapper growing up, dude. I didn't know that anyone.
There we go, man. There we go. I love it.
Bro, that's crazy. I didn't know anyone knew that dude existed. That's crazy.
I know, it's wild because that's the reaction I always get is, I tell people about him and they're like, who the fuck is that? Or they're like, yo, I love Tayyib Ali. I grew up on him. It's very polar. It's very left and right. But, the people, him absolutely love him. So my buddy he was friends with him. And it was like middle of the school day. I was in like 10th grade or something. And he's like, yo, like, I'm going to go hang out with this rapper. Like, you want to come meet him with me? And I was like, of course I want to go. So we got there. We sat down, we started talking, chopping it up. And he was like, yeah, like my video guy bailed on me today. I was supposed to do a music video. Of course, my boy's like, yo, like Griff here, he's great with videos. Like he'll crush your music video. You should give him a shot. Meanwhile, I'm using GoPros and like I don't even know what I'm doing at the time.
Right.
So I'm not professional by any means. So I gave him my number, figured anything wouldn't come of it. Next day I'm in school and it was like 10:30 in the morning. And sure enough, I get a call from Philadelphia number. Pick it up. He's like, yo, Griff. I'm like, what's up, man? He's like, yeah, it's Taib. Like, get downtown right now. Let's do this. Shoot this right now. So I'm sitting in class like, what am I going to do here? I sprint out of class, go to the computer lab, take a camera, and just like, some Rebel TI, something like that. I don't know. Just took it and kind of snuck out of the school and went downtown. Sure enough, we made a video and it came through. It wasn't great by any means, but it was good enough for him to, put out there, and it got some pretty good feedback. And from that moment on, I was like, this is it. Like that was the best feeling I've ever had in my entire life. I'm going to do this. So the ball just kept rolling from there. And then I got in touch with a Philadelphia photographer named Shot by Cones, super successful guy, really big in the photo industry. He kind of took me under his wing and ended up bringing me to shows. Kind of as a package deal. He'd do the photos, I do the videos. So then I did 21 Savage, Gucci Mane, ASAP Rocky, that was a little later on, stuff like that. And, the ball just kept rolling from there, and it blew up. And I was like, yeah, this is it, man. I'm gonna stick with this. I love this. Yeah. So kind of lucky, but at the same time, I worked really hard, and I took advantage of the opportunity,
Yeah. So what are you from? Are you from Philly?
Born and raised, man. Yep. Outskirts of the city. So I can't say I'm from the city, but we're in, basically in the city limits.
What high school did you go to?
So I went to Chestnut Hill Academy. It's just like I said, on the outskirts suburbs of Philly. Private school. So I was fortunate enough to have that type of education and grow up in a really awesome neighborhood. Yeah. The city was like a 15-minute drive. So I'd come home after school 7:30, after sports, eat dinner with my family, and be like, all right, I'm going to my buddy Brian's house to go study. And I'd go downtown with my camera and, go to these shows and film it, stay up till 5:30 in the morning, get the edit out, go to school, be asleep in class all day, do the same thing the next night. So I was just grinding from age 16 on. Looking back on it now, if I knew as much as I did, my videos would have been so much better. But
right.
That experience, getting thrown in that professional world at such a young age, really showed me, where, the ceiling was. I was like, I could really take this somewhere if I just keep working at it. It was pretty wild, pretty crazy start.
That's crazy. Like, at what point did it turn from like an interest to like a passion, really?
Like I just talked about, is those concerts. That was really the moment. I was like, hey, like, I did one. I may have gotten lucky the first time, but I got another one. They just kept coming, and I kept getting invited back by this photographer because he loved what I was doing. Yeah. And I realized, I was like, hey, maybe I'm pretty good at this. Like, I think I could go somewhere with this. The whole time though, in school, my friends, my family, they weren't about it. They were like, you're chasing something you're not going to reach. This isn't you. You need to focus on school. Cause I was a terrible student. Who end up with C's are the ones who are doing the cool stuff now. I had my mind somewhere else. I was passionate about it, and there wasn't a lot of things I was passionate about at the time. So once I grabbed onto that, there was no letting go. But that starting point was definitely when the concert started and music videos, and that's when the ball just really started rolling. And I was like, I think there's something here,
Yeah, I love that. I'm curious more about kind of like the school aspect with kind of growing, because I was the same way, bro. I was a nightmare for teachers in school, like both like, behavior and just academically, I was a nightmare. So I'm curious, like, how that was for you, and when you realized that the school thing wasn't necessarily the exact path, and you had like this other passion that wasn't like the math, the science, and like the kind of straight and narrow course. Like when did you, talk me to your mindset. I'm always curious because, that's something that I don't relate to a lot of people on. And so when I do have that similarity to people about not always being great and not enjoying school, I'm always curious how that goes for people.
Yeah, man. From a young age, I knew school wasn't my thing. I think I was in second grade and I was already prescribed Vyvanse, which is way too young.
Wow.
I was getting pumped up with like 60 milligrams. I was like staring at the wall all day. And, my teachers they were bringing me in for like parent teacher conferences and be like, your son's not going to make it through the year. Like he just can't get him to sit still. I'd be, every time the teacher would try and get me to learn about something, I'd always be like, well, why do you want me to learn about that? Like, why is this so important to me? Why can't we talk about, this may be the right way to do it, but there's other ways to do this. Let's think about that. Let's analyze it. Let's see how we can rethink this in a more creative way. And that pissed my teachers off. They couldn't stand it. I did terrible in tests. Like I said, I had severe ADHD. So, through lower school, my parents were worried. They're like, oh, what are we going to do with this kid? Middle school comes around, not much change, still kind of struggled. But they saw me start picking up the camera and they're like, all right, he's focusing on something at least, like he enjoys it. High school came around, still same thing, not always asking why, always being like, why is this what we're learning about? There's different ways of thinking about this. I was always interested in how we could change the thought or kind of change the narrative of how things were supposed to be presented. And that's why I always liked, my history courses and stuff, because, as you know, history tends to repeat itself. You look at old events and you see the same stuff happening today. And so that was really where I was at with school. I had this, really strange approach, super passionate about very specific things, ceramics. I dove into that and I, started a portfolio and it was just weird. It was a really visual kind of tactile thing that just worked in my brain. But yeah, so school was a mess. And, once I picked up the video stuff, my family they weren't about it at first. They definitely didn't support it. But once they saw how passionate about I was, willing to do anything, to film anything, they trusted me. It took a while, but yeah, I never fitted that mold. I didn't grow up with a ton of friends when I was younger. It really took me till like my late high school, early college years to reach that point where, people started to like me. I was too hyper, man. They couldn't, it was too much to handle sometimes. People were just like, dude, chill out. Like, you see it now the way I talk. I just keep running.
Yeah. No, dude, I think it's so interesting. I relate to you a lot, man. I was always that asshole, just like being like, when am I ever going to need to know this? And like, why can't we do it this way? And like, why can't we do this? So yeah, dude, I relate to you. And it's a bummer because like, I went to private school too. And it's one of those things, it's like, I talk about it a lot on here, but it's part of the whole brand. But it's like, if you're not good at these core things, you're basically not shit. And so it's like someone like you, who's maybe more of like a tactile learner and maybe more, I think that's such a key thing at a young age. Like if you're starting to question why, like you've got this creative spark in you and like, it's a bummer when no one can kind of like capitalize on like, hey man, like Griff's really good at this. Like he might not be good at like the math and the science, but like he's like a a free thinker and he's like thinking about other stuff. And it's kind of a bummer that no one really like lets you know that that's a good attribute. And maybe it's not good for school, but it's going to help you in other ways. And so I'm glad that you ended up like having that support down the line and your parents and people were kind of supportive, because I know that can be tough without a support system. If the schools are not supporting you, and then if your parents aren't supporting like you kind of going against the grain a little bit, it can be hard, man. So I just applaud you for staying the course and for doing that, because I definitely relate and it's definitely not easy.
Of course, brother. That's just who I am. And, I use that to my advantage. My ADHD is something I really, I've really thought about a lot. It's something that has hurt me a lot. It's also something that's helped me. And I've always looked at it as a duality thing, It's my worst quality, but it's also my best. When I was getting tested for my ADHD at a young age, they do all those visual tests and like room for like 5 hours for like 3 weeks with this therapist or whatever. And they were trying to figure me out, and they did all these tests, and my tests were all so low except for this one. They're like, your son is a remarkable visual learner. They put the shapes and stuff in front of me, and I tested off the charts with that stuff. But everything else, I was really struggling in. And you take that and you throw it into the school-based curriculum, and they're like, oh, well, what the hell are we going to do with this kid? Like, he's not going to do anything. And it's interesting because we see today, at least I think, with, you know, with all these really creative, you know, not guys who don't fit the molds, you know, like Elon Musk, Joe Rogan, those guys like that who are doing these awesome things.
Right.
What I'm hoping is happening, or what I think is happening, is that the school system is starting to change their curriculum, at least for the younger kids, being like, hey, like, let's support these other ways of thinking. Let's take, you know, let's put these kids in different classes and see what they can generate. And I'm hoping that really, you know, I'm hoping we see that result in 20 years from now, and these kids are our age. You know what I mean?
Dude, I hope so too, man, because I think about all the people who like have all these skills and they're just like, you know, people say that they're bad or that they're like just not, you know, not good at school. And so they're just like, oh, I'm bad. And they carry that, but it never translates. Like for you, it translated. I would like to think for me, it translated. But the problem is like, there's so many people out there who were just told that from a young age and it just stuck with them the rest of their life. Like, bro, I don't know about you, but like, you know, I was always the dumb kid. And so I kind of like adopted that. I was like, you know, I was in the lower classes and I was like the bottom of the lower classes. So like, you know, all my friends, like I was known as the dumb kid and I fucking adopted that. And it's kind of bullshit because it's like, I finally had the realization. I was like, I'm not the dumb kid. And that was like such a hard thing, but it was fucking like hammered into me. And so I think that that's something that's, it's very hard, but I think you're right. I think hopefully that there's like a change coming with that, you know, especially in the years to come.
Bro, man, like what you just said is the most relatable thing in the world to me, because I was constantly hammered this idea into my head that I was no good. One, because of school. Two, because I sucked at sports when I was growing up. And three, because I didn't have many friends when I was young, like lower school, middle school. I was made fun of a ton and stuff. So I just convinced myself, I was like, I'm just a loser. Like I got nothing going for me. And I think about it now and I wonder what I could have done if I didn't have that mindset. If I decided to be as resilient as I am now, with all the people who tell me I'm going to fail now, you know, I'm like, Bert, tell me, look, I eat that shit up. Give me more of it. If I had that attitude when I was younger, I can't imagine where I'd be right now. Because, you know, like you said, you had this feeling that you were just no good. And it's easy to think that way when everyone around you is telling you. And it's just wild to think about what I actually could have accomplished if I was resilient as I was today. So I totally agree with you there. I'm on the same page, man.
Yeah. So like, where did some of that resilience come from? And where did some of that change in mindset kind of come from for you?
Well, so where that kind of started for me was high school. That was when I started to really build up my confidence. When I said, you know what, I'm still not great at a lot of things. I may not have a ton of friends. I don't give a shit. I'm going to go do what I love. I don't care if people are going to make fun of me, like tell me I'm, you know, a poser, I'm a try hard. I'm going to keep doing this because I love it. And what I found was I just started succeeding and doing these really cool things, and people just started gravitating towards me. They were just like, dude, like, I respect the shit out of you. Like, you're doing this shit and you don't care what anyone thinks. You know, you may not be the best at it, but you think you're going to be the best at it and you strive to get better every day. And people just gravitate towards that personality. You know, when people decide to be themselves and not try and fit into the mold, that's when people are going to start following you. And, you know, I always tried to be a follower before that. And what changed was I was like, you know, I'm going to do my own thing. I don't care if anyone comes with me. And for some reason, that's when everyone comes with you. It's almost, it contradicts itself. It doesn't make a lot of sense. That's how it works. It's really bizarre, but that's what happened. And then from there, I just went into college with that same mindset, being like, hey, I'm going to be myself. I'm going to do what I love. You know, and if people follow me, they follow me. If not, I'll see you at the top, man.
Dude.
Say, right?
I love it, man. And no, I relate. It seems like we have a lot of similarities in the way we kind of grew up and thought about things. I mean, yeah, it's interesting. So like, talk to me through your college experience a little bit.
So college is it's not actually over for me yet. I'm a senior actually. I go to Elon. It's in North Carolina, small liberal arts school, but I'm doing online classes right now because things are going so well for me at Kanga. Yeah. So I was like, I'm gonna stick around here. But college, yeah. So I came into college real hot, thinking because I came out of high school with all that stuff going on. I thought I was the man coming into college. Came in a little too hot, you know, was really just aggressive about going out, partying, and I lost my grip a little bit. I really lost my vision, and, you know, I just started sinking into this hole. I went to Elon because the film school there was apparently great. I thought it was going to work for me. I decided to go there over Clemson. But what I found was this curriculum, this film curriculum, the same way school applied to me, the same way this, when I was younger, the same way this film curriculum applied to me there. It was very specific, very rule-based, very, hey, this is the angle you film from. This is the lighting you shoot with. You shoot on these settings. You don't break this plane, stuff like that. And I was just like, why though? Let's get experimental. Let's get weird with it. So that forced me to really push away the academic stuff again. And it stinks because it was a film major and I thought I was going to be super passionate, but I resented it and I pushed it away. And I, unfortunately turned to partying as my solution for that. And because, they say, my buddy used to tell me, idle hands are, they're with the devil. And he couldn't be more right. Because when I stopped working, man, they just spiral. So like I said, I turned to partying. I going out all the time, skipping class, just not good stuff. And I fell into this hole and really stopped working for about like a year. Nothing was going for me. And came back to school, found myself at just a super low point sophomore year. And I said, I got to turn this around because I was doing great things in high school, but that's not high school anymore. I'm not there. So I really had to pick myself up. I reached a really low point and I overcame, that was one of the biggest challenges in my life, just reinventing myself and getting away from, that type of scene. And I was able to kind of bring myself back. Sophomore summer, I got an internship with Dim Mak Records in Los Angeles. They're Steve Aoki's label.
Oh, wow.
And so that was great. That was really a reviving point for me. I came back into it, real aggressive, worked my ass off last summer, crushed it and went really well. Made a ton of connections in the music business, started working with other artists like Smoke Perp. So I really got back into it and I was like, all right, this is great. Let's keep this going. Went abroad last fall. It was an amazing experience. Learned a ton about myself, some really amazing things, and came back to Elon last spring, being like, all right, we're back. Let's keep the ball rolling here. Fortunately, that's not what happened. I went back to those old habits, started partying again, got in some trouble, and things were they just reached an all-time low again. And that was a couple months ago. And I was like, you did it again. You put yourself in this hole. Now you got to dig yourself out of it. And Kanga was really the moment for me when I was like, hey, this is my chance. I'm going to hop back on this train and I'm going to ride it. And it has been amazing. Since the moment I walked in the office, I knew, I was like, these guys are special. I'm sure Teddy's told you about our Monday morning meetings. I forget what we call them again. Mind Mondays or something like that, where basically we go around the room and talk about things we've learned on a personal level and a professional level. Wow. And that was my first day. And I walked in there and I said, this is it. This is something really special. This is where I need to be. And from that moment, I learned, I said, hey, you are a product of the guys you surround yourself with. And I knew from that moment that if I stuck on with these guys, I'd be heading the right direction. And from there on, it's been unbelievable. I've been, working day and night. I was talking about this documentary we got coming up. And so, that was just an unbelievable transition. I'm feeling amazing right now. I'm really back on top. People reaching out to me being like, yo, dude, like, good for you for really, blazing your own trail and like doing what you think you want to do with your life. Because a lot of people are too scared to make that jump. So August came around, it's time to go back to school. And I said, no way, I'm not going back. I love Elon. I love the kids. I had some really great friends there, but it's not the place for me, man. It's not, unfortunately, the kids I surround myself with there are not people I should be surrounding myself with. So I had to make that tough decision. It was rough. Told my friends about it and said, hey, I'm leaving. But, it was really great, the response I got. They were all like, hey, man, we support you. We really respect you because you're chasing your dreams. And everyone was like, go get it. Forget about us. Come back and visit. We'll see you soon. Get out of here and go crush it. And it's just been great. That's been 2 weeks since then. So everything's been great since then. And I thank Kanga. I thank Teddy. Teddy brought me on. He's really been a great mentor for me. We're so similar. It's freaky to the point where we actually butt heads a lot because we're both kind of pulling the same rope in terms of position. But it's been great, man. It's the Logan. We got to get Logan on this podcast too. I'm pretty sure Teddy told you about him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Unbelievable leader, man. I'd ride to the end of the earth with that guy. But I kind of strayed off there a little bit. But College has been a roller coaster. It has been. It's been a blast. I've learned a lot, but it's time to just move forward. Things are on the up, and I want to keep them that way. So I'll probably stick around Kanga until January. I'm supposed to go back to school and finish the last semester, but I'm thinking I'm just gonna stay here and just keep doing online and just keep crushing it. Walk at graduation, losing my friends then, but gotta stay focused.
Absolutely, man. That's such a mature decision to have to make. Like, and that's just a testament to Kanga's culture to be like, man, I think this is the thing. I gotta move and I gotta do this for myself and keep chasing my dreams. So like, what was that original experience? Like, how did you end up getting the internship with Kanga and kind of start that process with them?
So my sister actually just graduated from Clemson. She used to be in classes with Teddy like freshman, sophomore year, and she'd always be like, "Hey, like, you gotta check out my brother. Like, he's legit at video stuff. He loves it. He's really good, really talented. You gotta reach out to him." Teddy gets that shit every day. So he's like, "Yeah, whatever. Like, I get it. Like, he has a camera. Like, cool." She kept pressing. Finally, he decided to check me out, and he was like, "Damn, like, this kid's got it, man. Like, we got to get this kid on board." And we've been in touch since sophomore year since then, trying to get me here. Last summer I worked with that record label, so I really thought that was more my direction. But, this spring when I reached out to him, I was like, "Hey man, I think Kanga is really got something special going on. I'd love to really join and push this ball and keep this great thing you guys got going, even further." So Teddy brought me on. It was really just that simple. He was like, "Yeah, man, like you got the skills. I could tell you're gonna fit in. We got to get you here." And he brought me on, and I'm super grateful for that. Teddy's an awesome dude, man. As you probably know, you talked to him.
Yeah. No, it seems like you guys just got a really awesome thing going on, man. It's exciting to see where it's at. Like, so I guess I want to touch back to, and then we can kind of go forward to more of the Kanga stuff. But I'm curious, when like about all the music stuff, because you've obviously done a lot of videography with different artists and stuff like that. So talk to me a little bit about some of your experiences doing that, and obviously out in LA and that sort of thing, and just some of those experiences.
So the music business is very cutthroat, as everyone knows. It's the same thing with the film business. It's all like that, and they around people and go behind their back. And that was something that wasn't a great quality coming into this music thing. I got into it and I realized these managers and stuff, they're just so cutthroat. You really gotta stand around. I don't think I got paid for a single show I did until I was like 20. Yeah. Cause I did it for the exposure.
Sure.
Being able to film guys like Playboy Cardi, like Logic, Rich the Kid. I was like, oh my God. Like, oh yeah, I don't care. Don't pay me anything. Let me get out there. But head of the production division, his name was Tyler Rain. He taught me a ton. He really was like, "Dude, like you gotta, you're skilled. You may not think you're that great compared to other people, but you've got something that people need. You need to make that known. You can't let these guys push you around. You gotta let them know that you value yourself very highly, and your services to them should be valued highly as well." Mm-hmm. And so that was a big transition for me. I'm making a lot more money now because I don't take anything under a certain amount for any video. I got my minimum. And I said, look, this is why, I got my camera equipment, this, all this stuff I can do. So that was, really the part of the music industry that really shaped me. But music has always been my passion. That's why I got into it. I don't play any instruments, but I got involved in it because I love music, every type, classic rock, rap, EDM, alternative rock, anything. I'm all about it. There's something about the rhythm that just really, clicks in my head. And all of my videos, and you've seen them, I don't know if you have, but they all work really well with the music. That's something that people really tell me is that, hey man, you're really good at like getting the music to match the tone of the video. And that's, that worked for me. So I was like, I gotta keep chasing this. There's something that clicks here. And so that was really kind of my experience with the music business. And I got into festivals, stuff like that, music videos. But yeah, it's been a really big learning experience, and I definitely want to get back into it. My goal one day, I'm making documentaries now, but I want to continue to do that. And I'd love to start making documentaries for artists. Because I love the story behind their music. Everyone hears music and they make their own assumptions about what the lyrics mean. But I think if you get the full picture, it makes those lyrics, multiply tenfold in terms of what they mean to the listener. You see, that's what Genius is doing in a way. You see those little art, those kind of like Tiny Desk things where they bring in the artists and go through the lyrics, and that's like a 2-minute video. Can you imagine what you could do if you get paint the whole picture?
100%.
Yeah, that's kind of where I want to go with the music thing. It's kind of on hiatus right now, but part of my vision for Kanga is actually starting a music division. We're in the works of getting that going right now, starting by getting our stuff in festivals and, starting to bring in artists and stuff like that. And long term, I want to be able to actually bring, musicians onto the Kanga brand. So that's big. That's big picture. That's a couple of years down the road. But yeah, man, I never want to let go of the music stuff. Even though it's not in my life, music, I can't get through the day without it. So, that's really,
yeah. It seems like you really kind of found your worth as a videographer through kind of that cutthroat business, man. And just being like, nah, like this is like now, cause now you obviously said like, nah, this is my rates. I'm good. And like, this is what it is. And I think that'll help you going forward, but it's cool to see that. And I'm sure at some point down the line, I like it that you got the big goals for yourself. I'm sure it'll tie in at some point back to the music industry.
I'm definitely a goal setter, but as Teddy's told you, he's a massive goal setter. And that's something I really picked up on from Teddy. It's like, you just simply just writing something down, being like, I want to accomplish this week. I want to accomplish this month. I want to accomplish this year. You'd be so surprised how well that works. Because you wake up, that's what you see. You go to bed, that's what you see. Boom. Got to get this done today. What's the next step? And just setting goals. And, Teddy's really instilled that in me, and that's been huge. And, it's been working for me great. So I definitely got to thank Teddy for that, as well as Noah. And you had Noah on the show.
Yes.
Noah is hands down the most interesting individual I've ever met. I can listen to him talk for hours on end and just have a notebook. And I love it. He's got such interesting perspectives on everything. He's a learner. He's really a learner. I wish I could say I'm a learner. I like to learn, but not like Noah. Noah just absorbs this information and finds ways to apply it to his life. And, I think he said it in the podcast with you. It's everyone learns, but it's really the people who can find a way to take what they've learned and instill it in their life and apply it directly to things they do. And he does that so well. And something I'm really trying to pick up on. So I always stay in touch with Noah, even though he's not here. We're trying to get him back because we love that kid.
Oh man, he's great, dude. Both those guys, man. So much you can learn from Teddy and Noah. And listening to this one, go back and listen to those, man, because those are some insightful dudes as well. So what are some other things, Griff, that that helps you? Because it sounds like goal setting is big for you. What are some other things that really are a key part of what you do and kind of who you are, as far as maybe it's like routines, regimens, whatever it is, like a mindset thing? Is there anything else that kind of makes you tick as far as that goes?
One thing that has always driven me, even before I was creating things, was just the ability to inspire. I've never been a great public speaker or anything like that, but from a young age, I was like, I really want to leave a mark for someone. I really want to leave some type of trail that says, hey, this may be what people are telling you, but don't listen to them. Don't give up. Do what you want. So what I see with film is that gives me the tools to really do that. I want to leave a message for people, whether that's something about the environment. I do care about the environment a lot. I wish I treated it better, but or if that's just mindset stuff, like, hey, like, this is the norm, don't follow this. Or if it's anything like this, how you see people, before you judge them, think about this before you judge them. I really just want to inspire people to think differently in any way I can, just by using stories. I think stories are so powerful, whether they're true or they're not. People take away really meaningful things from stories, and film is a tool to really deliver that. And so that's why I love documentaries. That's definitely the route I want to go, because you've seen the change that documentaries have made in the past couple of years, not even 10 years. You see all this stuff coming out, people today, kids our age, don't trust the government for shit.
Yeah.
Because of all this, you see all these things coming out that just expose everything. Our parents had nothing like that. And they grew up with such a, linear mindset. It's like, hey, like, this is how things are, and everyone's entitled to their own opinion now. And I think that's such a powerful thing, because film's done that for so many people. And I want to leave a trail of inspiration. I want to leave a really big message for people, just to be like, hey, it doesn't even have to be specific, but my big thing is just never giving up.
Yeah.
I've always believed firmly in resiliency. As someone who's had countless blows on personal levels, professional levels, I think resiliency is so important. And that's really what keeps me going. Just knowing that, like, hey, I may not where I want to be now. I'm doing great things now. I'm going to be where I want to be in 15 years. And I'm going to use that platform to tell people that they can do what they want with their life.
I love that, man.
Yeah, man. Resiliency and just, never give up. Never give up. Like when, I think it was Churchill that said that at a college speech. He went up there. It was like a Harvard speech. He goes up. His whole speech was never give up, never give up. And he walked off stage. And I think that speaks millions of words, because there's so many people that they may convince themselves there's reasons why they couldn't do something. Athletes, they tore their ACL. Musicians, they were told they weren't good, got dropped out of music school or something like that. And they use that as a reason to be like, you know what? I got to find something else. If that is your thing, you have to die for it. You cannot give that up for anyone. You reach a certain point in your life that, you have to decide who you're going to be, and you can't let anyone else make that decision for you. And I think it's so important to just keep that in your head, knowing that you have control over your own future, no matter what anyone says.
Absolutely.
So that's really the thing for me. And that's what I want to inspire people with. I want to instill that and, leave a trail of breadcrumbs if I can, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Well, hey, dude, you're doing that through your videos, you're doing that through your documentaries, which I want to touch on in a minute, but like 30 to 40% of the listeners are 18 to I think 23. And to me, that's such an important thing, because it's like, that was one thing that I wish I had. And I'm sure you can relate to this, is like, I wish in high school and middle school, somebody could have like told me that, hey, like, that path is an option, right? Like that videography, like, hey, chase that shit. And so I think it's amazing. And I appreciate you being on here, because the truth is, a lot of people who are listening are in that spot in their life that we were kind of at, where it's like, maybe I love this thing, but maybe somebody or something is trying to push me this way. And so I really appreciate you saying that message, because I think a lot of people will hopefully take that to heart, because I think it's great to see where you're at now. You're proof of it,
Hey man, I might not know a lot, but if there's one thing I do know, is that you can't let anyone tell you who you're going to be, ever. So you stick with that, you're going to be all right. If you just follow your own vision, no matter what it is. If it's picking up trash from the side of the road, people are going to tell you not to do that. Who cares? Do it. If that's what makes you happy, you better go do that, because you're not doing yourself justice if you're not doing that.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Because it's like, bro, I always say, it's like, you're the only person that you're with your whole life. It's like, you have to make that person happy. Ultimately, you have to make that person, it's like, if you're living for somebody else, man, it's like, you'll look back on life and wish you lived for yourself. And so I think it's remarkable that you're doing that. And the last thing I want to talk about, I'm very curious what you're doing now with Kanga. I'm excited where you guys are headed. So talk a little bit, if you don't mind, just about where Kanga's at now, where you guys are going, and of course the documentaries and everything.
For sure, man. So what I'm really heading up right now is kind of expanding and relaunching our media division. Teddy's done that documentary Beyond the Breaking Point, which was fantastic. Is on Australian Surfer Red Dog. Unbelievable. They put that out, that caught a lot of wind. World Surf League bought it and stuff like that, and they used it, and that was great. Since then, we've been putting out a lot of stuff, because our company is expanding. We're creating new products, stuff like that. But what my job is to really is put a spark under that media division again, just because Teddy has so much going on. He's basically like managing anything that's to do with marketing or client relations.
Right.
So I'm here to really help out with that. And what our vision is hey, let's start putting out these massive projects that may not be, advertising our product, aren't like shoving Kangas in the screen, but what it does is these projects are going to be just really great, and people are going to watch and be like, wow, this is an amazing documentary. Who is this by? Kanga Productions. What's that? Then they know what the product is. The objective of these documentaries is not the product. It's painting a picture for the type of people we want involved in our brand.
Yeah.
So the one we got going right now, it's called Wake Up. So Ryan McCormick, Teddy, and I directed it. I wrote it, and the idea behind it is, with everything going on politically, with COVID, racial tension, just there's so much going on in the world that's really negative right now. Um, and these guys have their sport, which is wake surfing and wakeboarding. And the idea behind it is, how does the sport act as your rock? How is it your control? How does it keep your direction heading where you want it to go? And what we really touch on is with these guys is how it's an outlet for them personally on an emotional level, professional level. They're able to really channel all that bad stuff, and just once they get on the water, their mind's empty.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of sports for a lot of people. So we know that message it's probably been done before, kind of like block out the noise type thing. But, we're really excited about it. We were on set all weekend. So we started shooting last Wednesday. We were up at 5:30 every morning, start shooting at sunrise out in the water. We do wakeboarding session, wake surf session. Then we'd follow up with lifestyle content, them packing up boat stuff like that. And then we did their interviews, which went awesome. We're really excited to have those, that dialogue. It really was great. And yeah, that was basically every day for 5 days. So we were coming off a bender of filming. So this Wake Up film, it's going to be big, man. It's going to be really big. We got a bunch of cool sponsors involved, and we're going to have a big platform to launch it. And the team we had involved, it's impossible for this thing not to be great with the guys we had involved. James Turner, super talented filmmaker in Clemson. Ryan McCormick, amazing with the camera. The kid's a genie. And then we got Teddy, who's, obviously the visionary. And then you got me as well. And, two talented individuals. So it's going to be something really special. So, we're in the editing process now. We're planning on launching it within hopefully the month, maybe a month and a week from now or something like that. And we're going to use that to really jumpstart this Kanga media division, get it going again. And I don't know if you've ever seen like the Yeti documentaries, stuff like that. They do really cool stuff. It's about really showing, hey, these are the guys, their vision, their mindset fits with our brand. So we paint that image. We're able to do with other guys. We want to do mountain bikers. We want to do snowboarders in the winter. So we want to do seasonal documentaries. So that there's something for people to really look forward to, not only because of our products, people love our products, but they're like, hey, like Kanga Productions is legit, man. Like, you look at Red Bull and stuff like that. And Red Bull, pictures, are they shoving Red Bull cams in the camera the whole time? No, like, they're wearing Red Bull merch, they got stuff on, but it's about the people. It's about the story. And that's what we really want to shape and just create this massive media division and just have people really on board. So it's so exciting. We're stoked about it, man. It's going to be wild. So yeah, that's really what's going on right now. In the future, like I said, we want to do more docs. Kanga's absolutely blowing up right now on TikTok. I'm sure Teddy's talking about that. Yeah, we got some pretty good engagement going on there, which is fun. But yeah, dude, in terms of business as usual is pretty much going on. We're coming out with some new products in the fall. Yeah, nothing too out of the ordinary around the office going on right now. We're just all keeping our heads down, thinking of as many new ideas as we can, and integrating them into the company. And just the team there is just, I couldn't ask for a better group of guys to work with. They just all have such a positive presence in the office, And it's interesting because, people talk about now how work environment is so important, culture is so important.
Absolutely.
When you work in Kanga, when I work, I've worked for a record label, like I said, I worked for Urban Outfitters a couple of years back. I interned for them, did some videos for them. It's fun and all, those jobs are awesome. But you walk into the Kanga office and you feel really comfortable. You can be yourself. You walk around like your shoes on, no one gives a shit, type like stuff like that. You don't have to put on this, coat and tie show for everyone to be professional. You're there to work. You're there to work. You're there to work and have fun. And with that mindset, it just, your creative spectrum is so much wider because you're that much more comfortable. And you're just like, hey, you know what? This might be a weird idea, but let's talk about it. And you don't feel weird doing that. There's some company cultures where people are scared of their bosses. You should never be scared of your boss. You should see him as a superior, but you should not be scared of him, And that's the beauty of Kanga, is that we all are so on the same page and everyone loves each other. And that's why I know this company is going to go the distance. I haven't been here for that long, but I know there's something really special going on. Yeah, man. So that's pretty much it for what's going on at Kanga right now. A lot of stuff, but we're doing it.
It's a lot, man. I don't doubt that you guys are going to continue to have success. I've had the pleasure of meeting you, Teddy. I know Austin. I mean, you guys are, it just seems like a great group of people, man. And like you said, culture is everything. And so, I think it's really great what you guys are doing. I'm super excited to see the documentaries and stuff.
Yeah, man.
And sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say there's previews coming out in a couple weeks. We'll have some teasers, stuff like that. So we'll definitely keep you updated. You'll see it. We'll be flooding the pages with it.
Yeah, man. And I love your guys' kind of mindset of like you're building the brand and you're building this community and this culture. And
yeah.
People are gonna buy from you because I'm in sales, and so it's like in sales, it's like people buy from you if they like, know, and trust you. And you guys are building that community, and so people are naturally gonna gravitate to the product. And I absolutely love that. I think that's a really good way to go about it. And I think it's cool, man. So last thing before we wrap up, man, I don't want to take too much of your time, but I always like to do this. And you did give some really good insights, so maybe you already covered it. But if you haven't, if you could just give one more thing to the listeners. You're like the exact guest I'd like to have on, man, just from your life experience, from where you are now to where you were and everything in between. So if you could just give one more piece of advice to the listeners. Like I said, man, we got a lot of people listening who are kind of that 18 to 23 where they're trying to figure out what they maybe enjoy. They're trying to figure out a path for them. If you could just give them one more thing to stick with them to the end of the podcast, what would that be, my man?
So for me, like I said earlier, the big thing for me is 1, never giving up. 2, you reach a point in your life where you need to decide who you're going to be. Don't let anyone tell you who you're going to be. Those are the 2 main ones. But the last big one I really want to touch on is appreciating life for what it is, what you're given every day. We didn't talk about it, but I had an incident a couple of years back where I basically lost my life. I was surfing, I had a seizure. I went under for about 3.5 minutes, no pulse. They had to defibrilize me, all that stuff. So I was pretty much dead.
Wow.
The doctor told me I was basically a miracle. They told me they don't understand how I lived. And since that moment on, I've just lived every day being like, things might suck right now and things may not be great, but God damn it, man, I'm alive right now. Like, I'm here. This is what life has to offer. You gotta take everything in and just run with it. You gotta love your family. You gotta love your friends. You gotta be passionate about your work. Yeah, you're gonna have bad times. It's about balance. You're gonna have shitty days. You're gonna have good days. You gotta learn that's the best part, man, is the ups and downs. You're dealing with these difficult things, and you just gotta learn to overcome them. And every time you overcome them, you're that much stronger. You're that much more powerful. And so those are my 3 things, man. Really just appreciate life. Never give up on anything you love. And don't let anyone tell you who you're gonna be. You gotta be yourself.
Dude, I absolutely love that, man. That is so well said, and that's an incredible story, man. I had no idea. That's crazy.
Yeah, we didn't get to touch on it. I probably would have covered some time there.
Right. Well, anything else, before we wrap up that we missed, man?
No, not really. I think we really dove into the good stuff there. I gotta say, dude, you got a really awesome thing going here. I've listened to a bunch of the podcasts. They're great. I love the concept. I love the themes you're really diving into, and I think this is something, like I said, I want to inspire. I think this is something that's going to inspire a lot of people from the 18 to 24 age who are looking for their path. And that is priceless, man. You're doing a very important service to the world right now. And I got to say, thank you, man. This is awesome.
Dude, I really appreciate that, man. Hey, where can people find you, man? And when all this stuff starts coming out, and where can they check out your content you already have?
So if you want to find me and, a lot of the stuff I've filmed, all that awesome shit, that's on my page, Instagram page, at Just Call Me Griff. Pretty simple there. Just Call Me Griff _ I got a website. I'm actually kind of redoing it right now. I got a book coming out on all the rap photography I did in high school. It's really great. I got a guy, Kyle Self, working on it. That'll be on my website right now. It's www.dlp-productions.com. That's probably going to be changed. You'll see it on my Instagram if I do. Obviously, check out Kanga Coolers. There's some really awesome stuff on there, TikTok and Instagram. We got the documentary be out on my page, Teddy's page, all those other guys. It'll be everywhere. Look out for my book. It's going to be cool. I got a bunch of other stuff coming out. And man, that's where you can find me, Instagram and on the website. That's really it.
And I'll be sure to link all that below. But yeah, go check him out, guys. Griff, you the man. We're signing out. Powerful one. You did it. You made it to the end of the episode. Thank you guys so much for listening or watching the podcast. Be sure to go like it, subscribe, share, all that stuff that you're supposed to say at the end of the podcast. Thank you guys again, and stay tuned. Powerful1.com/podcast or on the Instagram page at Powerful0NE Powerful1. Thank you guys again. And again, last thing, if you guys are interested in being on the podcast, hit me up. If you got a cool story and feel like you really fit the mold for Powerful One, hit me up. We'll get you on the podcast. Thank you guys.